So gingerbread cookies, and specifically gingerbread men, have been a part of Christmas for a very long time, and certainly in our house they have been. Making them gluten-free is not difficult. You use different flours, but it's a pretty easy process. So let's get going. So we're going to start with butter in the mixer, and we're going to cream this with some brown sugar, and we're going to put honey. Normally, gingerbread cookies are made with molasses. This one's made with honey. Just one of the little differences. But if you were to try it later, you wouldn't know the difference for sure. So let's get this going. So we'll cream the butter and the sugar together. Then as that's creaming nicely, we're going to add 2 eggs. And we're going to add some water. Now let's get our flours ready. So we've got a mixture here of some flours that you've probably been used to using. And then we're going to add a new flour. This is buckwheat flour. Buckwheat flour, although it says the word wheat in it, is gluten-free. But you have to be careful that you get it saying gluten-free on it. I usually use the Purist buckwheat flour. Purist is a company out of Perth, and I've been working with them for years. Everything out of their facility is gluten-free. And you can find this at health food stores, or they also have it at Farm Boy. When you're mixing a lot of different flours like this, for something as delicate as these cookies, it really does make a difference to sift it together. The other reason we're sifting it together is because we have a lot of spices. There's quite a variety of spices here. And the surprising part about the spices is there's no ginger. Lots of other spices, but no ginger. And we also add baking soda. So what we're doing now is just mixing these together so that we have no lumps. So these being our dry ingredients, we're now going to add them back to what we already have in the mixer. This makes quite a lot of dough. You may want to have this recipe. I find in our house, we use it all. This cookie dough is quite forgiving. By sifting it to start with, you won't have any lumps when you actually mix it together. Oh, you can smell all those spices. There's anise, there's cardamom, lots of spices that you're probably not used to using. The addition of all that honey makes this a really soft, liquidy dough. So let's just get the rest of that in there. This dough is going to be sticky right out of the mixer. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in plastic wrap and we're going to put it in the fridge. Smells so wonderful. There we go. That was really quick. Now you wouldn't really want to play with this right now. It's far too sticky and far too gooey. But by putting it in the fridge, it'll firm up nicely. This will be one of the only cookies that we'll actually add extra flour to as we roll it out. If you want to make gingerbread houses out of this cookie dough, you absolutely can. I remember a couple of times at the bakery, people called, made special arrangements to have me make gingerbread houses because they had a friend or relative whose child wasn't able to make gingerbread houses with the rest of their friends. So I was able to use this dough, and there's a few tricks to making the templates, and I'll post those on my website. So what we're going to do is we're going to portion these out. You don't want these to be portioned too big because you want to keep the dough cold until you're ready to use it. So I'm going to finish portioning this out. I'm going to put these in the fridge, and then I'm going to get some that I made earlier, and I'm going to get a helper. So we've got our gingerbread dough that's been chilled now, and I'm joined by my daughter Trish. She's going to help me make gingerbread men just like we used to do when you were little.
Yeah, every Christmas we'd make so many of them.
I remember one year you took them for all your friends at school.
Yeah.
Now, so this dough is still cold. It's sticky, so we have to use bench flour. Bench flour is a term that's used in bakeries just for the extra added flour that you're going to use for dough. Don't be concerned if things stick. Just add extra bench flour. We're using the buckwheat flour as bench flour because that's the majority of the flour in this. So we're just going to roll it out. Again, I'm using my small fondant roller. You want to get this thin, but not super thin that it might break. So there's a nice piece, Trish. Do you want to hit it with the gingerbread men? And we should be able to get these up. Yeah, we put lots of bench flour down so we can get these nicely off of here. So as you can see, it doesn't use a lot of dough. So the amount of gingerbread men that we can make out of the one recipe is a lot. I remember one year when your sister was going to gymnastics and she made individual gingerbreads.
One for every girl on our team.
That's right, and she personalized them with the frosting of their favorite gym leotard. There, you can hit that up again. There, and why don't you try by just going underneath with the offset spatula. Perfect. There you go. The other thing that we used to do in the bakery was we would make these about 100 at a time, and then we would line them all up on trays, and one person would go around with one color and one person would go around with another color, and it wouldn't take very long at all to actually make the decorations on all of these. Don't hesitate to put more bench flour down. Most gluten-free cookie doughs are not thick enough to roll like this and pick up. This is a pretty special dough. There, let's make a few out of this, and then we'll get some in the oven.
All right, you can grab those.
Okay. There we are. Remember we always had a thing about how we would eat them? And I remember one year you said you always had to eat the head first so that it couldn't watch you eat the rest.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to put these in the oven now, and then Trish and I are going to come back and we're going to decorate them with some really cute icing. They've come out of the oven and they've cooled, so I've made up some frosting. So there's yours, pink. So why don't you do the smiles and the buttons, and I'll do the eyes, and then I can do the clothes. Now we've made this icing up just with water. You can use royal icing, that's a traditional thing to make. The royal icing has egg whites in it, but just the icing with water and icing sugar will dry hard, which is what you really want. So, oh, those look really good. Here, why don't we switch and you finish? You finish mine, and I'll put the eyes on yours. This is a great thing to do with kids. Even if the kids aren't very coordinated, it's still lots of fun. There we go. You got one done?
Yep.
Okay, Here we go. Head first. Oh, they're so good. Does that taste like Christmas to you?
Yep.
Tastes like Christmas in our house to me. Now you too can make gluten-free gingerbread cookies at home.